How's everybody today? Good. Well, I was really pleased with the way our players responded and competed in the last game. You know, we talked about that. This time of the year, you hope you're playing your best football and your team is, continuing to improve. And I think good preparation is always probably a key to that improvement. And that's what's going to be, a necessary part of our focus, moving forward here. This game is a great opportunity for our players, which they've created for themselves. And, as a coach, as any coach, as a staff, we want to do the best job that we can to prepare our team so that we can give them the best opportunity to be successful. No different than last week or any other game that we played all year. We had some outstanding performances last week. Amari Cooper, Barrett Jones, who was recognized by the SEC, Eddie Lacy, A.J. McCarron on offense, Robert Lester, who was honorable mention, recognized by the SEC, Jeffrey Pagan, special teams Landon College, and Reggie Ragland. From an injury standpoint, Kenny Bell had surgery, which is the best way to actually fix, the issue with his leg. So, we'll evaluate moving forward probably 5-6 weeks from now, where he is, and that's going to be a medical decision that, our doctors have to make. We have a couple other guys that, may not be able to practice today, but we expect, we'll be okay as the week progresses. It's a real sort of opportunity, I think, for our players. The SEC championship game is, a great competitive venue. Obviously, two really good teams. Georgia has an outstanding team. They have great balance. They, score a lot of points on offense, have a really good quarterback, have a good running game, a couple really good skill guys outside, two really good freshman runners. Aaron Murray does a great job of, sort of putting them in the right plays and making all the plays that he needs to make to help them. And Todd Gurley has been a fantastic, runner for him all year long. So they're very, very productive on offense. Their defense is, one of the highest ranked, defenses in the country for lots of reasons. They have lots of good players. They do a really good job of coaching them and getting them in the right spots. And, Jarvis Jones and, a couple of these other guys are really outstanding players and have had really good years. So it's a very well-coached team. Mark Rick, I think, is one of the most consistent relative to having a good program. His consistency defines success, really, for the number of really good teams that he's had and the great job that, he's done, I think, and through the years of Georgia always being one of the most difficult teams to, prepare for and play against. So this is a great opportunity for our players, and we're certainly look forward to helping them try to put them in the right places to prepare well to, play our best football game.
I want to ask you a question about Kirby Smart and the job he does specifically on Saturdays, making calls, adjustments, communicating timeouts, that kind of thing.
Well, Kirby's been with us for a long time, and, it's always good to have somebody with you on your staff that sort of thinks like you, and you can really sort of trust in. And even though, it's one thing to be able to help in the planning of what you're going to do, it's a whole nother set of circumstances to be able to implement that plan when it comes to the game. And I think that's something that Kirby does a really, really good job of, understands the system through and through, knows how to make adjustments. And, that's one thing about defense in this day and age is if you play a system, we see so many different things in terms of, what we have to defend. You really know how to adapt and adjust what you have systematically, and that's what's been good for us, and that's what Kirby's done a really good job of. We communicate a lot during the game, but he certainly does a good job of making adjustments, and we speak the same language and been on the same page for a long time. So I have total faith, trust, and confidence in you know, what he's doing during the game in terms of calling the game as well as making adjustments.
Also wanted to ask you a scouting question. When you played in the SEC championship game at LSU, it was against teams that you had already seen in the regular season. When you played in it at Alabama, it's been against teams you haven't seen. Scouting-wise, how much catch-up work is there when you haven't already seen them?
Well, I think it depends on the team. I think it, you know, some of the teams where there's, you know, we've played against Mark Richt's coach teams before. They've played against us before. So even though it is different and they do have different players, philosophically, it's not like they're completely different than what you played against before. And I'm sure they would say the same thing about us in terms of, you know, we don't change defenses every week. They don't change defenses every week. So they don't change offense. They kind of do what they do and do a good job of executing it, and I think that's why they're good. You know, they execute what they do well, whether it's how their offensive line blocks or, you know, how they create the efficiency that they have in the passing game. Same thing with their defensive players. You know, they put them in the right places. They got good players, and they play well. So, you know, it's not like this is something that we've never seen before. You know, I think sometimes when you play a new opponent that you have never played before and it's a new staff, it's a little bit different. You know, you don't have the same history, you know, to call on. So, you know, I don't know that it's that much different, to be honest with you.
Both AJ and Aaron are at the top of the league and near the nation in passing efficiency. I'm just wondering, is that the benchmark statistic you want to see your quarterback leading, or is there another kind of formula you use to determine whether he's doing what he should be doing?
You know, I think passing efficiency kind of sums it all up. You know, it means the guy's making good choices and decisions. He has to be fairly accurate with the ball. He's not throwing it to the wrong guys. And, you know, creating a lot of positive plays with his consistency, completion percentage, relative to eliminating the negative plays. And I think, you know, these two guys have done it as well as anybody in our league, maybe as well as anybody in the country.
And with Jarvis Jones, I know against Florida especially, it seemed like he took over on defense. Is there a way to kind of take out a player like that, eliminate him from making plays like that, or is it just something you have to deal with?
Well, you know, he's a very, very good player. And, you know, you certainly have to have a plan to try to help the players that have to block him so that hopefully he can't, you know, just get in one-on-one situations where it's a difficult circumstance for somebody. And that's part of the planning that you need to do. But there have been games this year where he has made a phenomenal amount of plays, whether it's sacks, causing fumbles. You know, I mean, the guy is probably one of the best defensive players in the country, actually. I mean, in terms of his playmaking ability, and he's a really good rusher. He's physical. He's instinctive. So he's a really good player.
Staying with Jarvis Jones, how would you compare and contrast his style with Adrian Hubbard, since both are very good
I don't
pass
really,
rush?
you know, you obviously haven't been around here long, but I don't compare players. You know, I don't think it's fair to the players. You know, both those guys in their own right, you know, do a good job for their team, and both have made, you know, a number of plays. You know, Jarvis is really, really good at what he does and what they ask him to do. And, you know, Adrian has done a really good job for us in terms of what we've asked him to do.
I have two. The first one, obviously this is the time of year where coaching jobs, I think six vacancies were created yesterday. Do you have, without talking about anybody specific, but what's your policy when somebody calls you this time of year and asks if they can speak to one of your assistant coaches? How do you ask them to handle that right now?
Well, you know, nobody's called, but if they do, you know, I always talk to the person and let them know that somebody has expressed interest in them. And it's always, you know, we want our assistant coaches to be able to fulfill the goals and aspirations that they have, which the reason they do a good job for you is so that they may create an opportunity for themselves to be a head coach, unless somebody just doesn't want to be a head coach. I mean, I was that way when I was an assistant, and you know, that's really what I want people to want to have a goal and an aspiration and work hard to achieve it and accomplish it. So I'm always in a position to try to help them do what they would like to do. And I think there's a balance between being able to do that and not being able to affect and not affecting the chances and opportunities that we have as a team relative to what we're trying to do right now. And I think that most of the guys that I've ever had to deal with in the past have been very professional about that. And, you know, they've been able to stay focused on what's important for us to do, you know, right now in terms of what we're doing. And I think that's the professionalism that anybody wants to show for the players. You know, these games are about the players. So we want to do the best job we can for the players. And and I think it's not that difficult from a time standpoint and a timing standpoint to be able to manage both things.
And my other one is unrelated. Was T.J. Yeldon, was he at 100% last Saturday? And where, could you kind of update us on his status?
Yeah, I think he was at 100%. You know, he was at 100%. He practiced all week, and I think, you know, guys at this time of the year are a little banged and bruised, especially running backs, and you know, but he practiced all week. He had a little sprained foot, but he was able to work through it. He's a tough guy, and you know, we just hopefully he'll continue to get better and play well this week.
Coach, back to their pass rush, how much does your running game play in effectively neutralizing that or being able to better handle
Well,
it?
I think that the more important thing is you know, not creating situations, because you have balance and you can run the ball as well. I hope run the ball effectively, as well as, you know, be able to pass it effectively, where you don't create the down and distance situations where everybody can just pin their ears back and, you know, come on, which is, you know, really a lot of 3rd and, you know, 5+ situations. You know, that's where, you know, guys that are really good pass rushers can take advantage of, you know, the situation, because the situation that you're in. So, and we have to have a plan for that, but we also have to have a plan on all those other downs, so that we're not constantly creating those circumstances and situations by the balance that we play with on the downs previous to that.
Coach, I know you have a lot of respect for Coach Grantham. He's kind of an intense, in-your-face guy. How much does his defense reflect his personality?
Well, I think that, you know, Todd, I've mentioned several times before, is, you know, one of the very best assistants that we've ever had anywhere on our staff. Did a fantastic job for us at Michigan State. Players like him. He's energetic. He's enthusiasm. He's very knowledgeable. And, you know, he's done everything that a guy can do in this profession to sort of learn and grow. And he's been in the NFL, you know, been a college coach, now a coordinator, and has done a fantastic job at Georgia. You know, they've gotten better and better and better on defense, and does a good job with the players. And they certainly play hard and reflect his personality, but I also think they're very sound and well coached in what they do, which is also a reflection of the kind of coach he is.
You've talked before about the benefits of having a 2 tailback system, tandem, and Georgia has kind of the same thing. What challenges does that present to a defense when there's 2 of them?
Well, you know, it's especially if the styles are different, you know, and their guys, their styles are a little bit different. You know, Todd is a little bit like our guys, you know, in a way. He's a big, physical, can run inside, can run outside, can make you miss, but has power. And their second guy is a very, very good back in all those regards, but he's a very fast guy. So there's a little bit of change of pace there that the players have to be aware of, and you know, definitely be able to make sure you keep better leverage. You always got to keep good leverage on the runner, but I think when you have guys that have great speed, you really have to be conscious of that.
And a question about your receivers. I know you've had another injury. Could you kind of talk about who has to step up, but also is this the most depth you had before those injuries at that position? Kind of deal with that level injury.
Well, you know, this is the third guy at that position that we've lost. Fortunately or unfortunately, one of those guys that we lost is now ready to come back. You know, he's been practicing for 3 weeks now, and now he's been cleared. So, you know, we're going to try to give him some reps because we're you know, getting down to where we only have, you know, maybe 5 guys that have much experience, you know, at the position. We still feel good about the guys that we have, and we just need to get more guys ready to play so that they can complement each other. And we got enough guys to, you know, you like to be able to roll guys in and out at that position. Guys get a little winded at times, especially when they run a lot of deep routes or you go 2-minute or something. So we definitely need to get more guys ready to play. It's going to create an opportunity for some other people, and hopefully they'll step up and take advantage of it.